we're back to the top 10 Bionic Woman episodes. Favorite Bionic Woman episodes. So let's start off with number 10, The Pyramid. The Pyramid's about where Jamie's sent in to investigate this whole disturbance. And there's this alien living in a pyramid. There are these aliens, they've been there for thousands of years. And Jamie's got to help them out. It's an awesome episode. I love it when they have the aliens and robots. Those are my favorites. So, yeah, there we go. Number 8 is Angel of Mercy. Angel of Mercy makes this list because Jamie is sent to this other country to get these ambassadors out. Ambassador and his wife. And she's sent in with Andy Griffith. He plays this character that thinks, oh, she's a woman, she's weak, she can't do anything. And I think I mentioned this on Twitter. If any of you check my back tweets, I said, well, she is a woman. Women give birth. That's fucking strong. So, I didn't understand why she didn't say that to him, but basically said, oh, you're a woman, I don't want you in my way, basically. And she basically saves his ass. And I just want to bring that up, because I said that in a back tweet, and I want people to know that, yeah, why didn't Jamie just say, we give birth. We're stronger. Even these bionics, don't make me. But she meets this kid, and Andy Griffith don't really want him around, and she kind of really likes the kid. And they end up saving the ambassador and his wife. And when that episode ends, Andy Griffith decides to stay in that country and basically take the kid. And Jamie goes back to her class in, Ojai. And she's telling, there's a story, it's a big breaking story about this happening. And her student talks about this, and she said, yeah, his name was, I like this episode just for the fact of, how Andy Griffith's just being this male macho, like, oh, I'm better than a woman, you're, weak, but she really wasn't. She probably could have done a lot better without him in the first goddamn place. So, yeah. Okay, number 8 are The Martians Are Coming, The Martians Are Coming. Alright, this is interesting. Okay, this episode's almost in one of those, Scooby-Doo type style. There's an alien ship that comes in and abducts Rudy and this other guy. And there's these aliens saying there's going to be this invasion coming, basically, if they don't get what they want. Well, Oscar sends her in, Jamie in, to get find out what's going on. And there's this reporter following Jamie around. And she's always, given this, slip. And at the end, what's interesting is Jamie finds out there is no aliens, there are no Martians, there's nothing happening, and someone used a hologram to make their helicopter look like a flying saucer. And they're kidnapping Rudy and this other scientist, basically, to make them this weapon. And of course, Jamie comes, kicks her ass, and saves the day. I love this episode, but it's on that Scooby-Doo type level. But it was during season 3, when it switched networks, but it's still a great episode. Number 7, The Daily Ringer. Okay, this is an episode which I talked about in the 6-Meter Man episode, where they had an episode where they had a guy impersonating Steve. Well, this is pretty much the same thing, but a woman from the South is impersonating Jamie to get into these, get these codes into the OSI. And basically she talks, she learns how to do everything, but she has one bad habit, she smokes, and Jamie doesn't smoke. Of course, the these sexy women like Jamie Summers do not smoke. Remember that, girls, don't smoke because Jamie Summers doesn't smoke. But this whole episode is Jamie has to stop her from, she goes to Ojai and starts some shit there. And Jamie has to use her bionics, and she basically says, well, sugar plot, you got the moves, but I don't. And they send her to prison. And it's a great episode. I liked it because I like seeing Lindsay Wagner play two different characters, because she's playing Jamie Summers, the really sexy, girl, girl next door type role, and then you're seeing her play the bad guy, who's smoking cigarettes, who's doing all these evil things with, with her boyfriend, and it's very interesting. I really liked Lindsay, and she should have got an award just for this episode alone. I know she won awards for the Bionic Woman, but by far this one, she should have just got an award for this one. Mirror Image. This episode is where she comes back. Her double. She gets out of prison and she's taking like this type of drug, but it's like gum she's chewing. And as a story in her reality, she's thinking she's Jamie. And you find out she's not really that bad of a person compared to the last time we saw her. She wants to be just like Jamie. She wants to be her. And Helen and Jim know something's not right with Jamie. And they know that's not her. So, at the end of this episode, Jamie saves her. She gets her off this drug that's giving her this enhanced strength. And she's in prison, and Jamie goes to visit her. And she told her, basically, that there's one favor she can do. She's going to help her, once this prison thing's over, get a job, all that kind of thing. But Jamie basically said the one favor she has to do is change her face, and she says, yes, I will do that. And it's just kind of a sweet, it's funny, it's like, somebody that was bad kind of, you see them become a good person. I really like this episode. So yeah, there we go. 5 is Welcome Home, Jamie. This is actually the pilot to the Bionic Woman, even though I would say the pilot was kind of somewhat in the 6-Year-Old Man episode. But we find out from Jamie, as she left for Colorado, that they've been, working with her, and they're going to send her out as a field agent. And Oscar's not really wanting to do this. She's got her memory back, but she still doesn't know about Steve. And she goes back, basically, she goes back home to Ojai, and she says she wants to work for the government, because Oscar doesn't really want her to. She says, I want to pay my debt. And she basically goes back, and this guy is trying to, see what she can do. He knows that she's bionic, and he wants her to steal stuff for him. Well, his son is not a bad guy. He doesn't want that to really happen. So he basically says that, he helps Jamie out. And of course, the guy goes to prison, and Jamie gets to start her new life in Ojai. As, a school teacher. She gets to live up above Helen and Jim, and have that family, that she has some of her memories back. She does see a report in the album. She's looking through the photos, and she does see the picture of her and Steve being engaged. And Jim says, don't look at that. That will only bring you pain. But this was, yes, a great pilot. Even though we met Jamie in the 6-Year-Old Man, but still, yeah, I like this one. And it still goes into that 6-Year-Old Man, like what happened after that. So I like that part about it. 4, Sanctuary Earth. This episode has a young Helen Hunt playing an alien. There's this little girl, she's going to another planet, and she gets shot down by these bad guys, and she lands on Earth. And Jamie hears her screaming because she's fallen in the water. She's drowning. She doesn't know how to swim. And Jamie goes to save her. And Jamie sees she's a young girl, and Jamie takes her in and basically tells her, she's going to give her give her food to eat and, a place to stay. And she's going to look for her parents. She goes, well, my parents aren't on this planet. And Jamie at first thinks she's just, fucking with her. Which is, of course, what I would be thinking if somebody told me this. But she does prove it. And the bad aliens come, and Jamie has to fight them. And in the episode, she gets the little girl home to her planet. And her parents were so grateful they named Earth the Sanctuary. that nobody could come here. Bad aliens. So it's a great episode. I really loved just the chemistry her and Helen Hunt had. Yeah, it's a great episode. Alright, number 3 is the Bionic Dog. This is the first time we meet Max the Bionic Dog, which in this episode we find that before Steve was bionic, they tested on a dog named Max that was in an accident, in a fire. And this dog can actually run 90 miles per hour, which Steve and Jamie can only go 60 miles per hour. And the whole episode's about Jamie finds the dog and Rudy wants to put the dog down because it's had a behavioral issue. And the whole episode is that Jamie wants to take the dog. And Rudy is just a dick through this whole episode. And we see how the dog has had nightmares of the fire that it went through as a puppy. Max sees a little girl in Ojai. And I just love this because I love animals in general. So I just loved how they did this episode. About, having Jamie. Originally, this whole idea was sent to the Six-Year-Old Man, and Lee Majors said, no, I don't want a dog. And I'm so glad that Lee Majors said no. Because I think it worked better with Lindsay. She had more of the patience. And her and this dog had a great chemistry. Working together. And the whole episode is, there's a forest fire at the end of it. And Max saves Jamie's life. And that's when Rudy realizes, hey, the dog's not bad, and it doesn't need to be put down, and Jamie takes the dog, it takes Max. I just really love this episode. It's a two-parter. It's great. I felt whoever wrote this episode did a really great job, and Lindsay Wagner, if you see this, please, I'd like to hear about these episodes. It's interesting. Number 2 is Doomsday is Tomorrow. Doomsday is Tomorrow is about the scientist who basically says he wants peace, but he decides says he's going to destroy the Earth if the world leaders will not come together and work together. And Jamie figures out at one point that he was a man of peace. This whole thing's a bluff just to get everyone to work together. But the AI the doctor had isn't like Kit. He's a dick. He wants to purposely destroy the world. And Jamie has to hack into a robot to, get in. And he actually does mess up her bionic leg, and she starts crying because she's in so much pain, and she wants to save the world. And she tries to reason with the AI. And she ends up destroying the AI. And there's this whole other Russian agent who got hurt. And after the AI is destroyed, and she says, well, maybe, we will have that world peace. And the Russian agent looks at her and says, yeah, but will they remember it tomorrow? And I just loved how this episode is, no matter how times change, is peace ever going to be a thing? I hope so, but you never know. Number 1, okay, you ready for this? Fembots in Las Vegas. I love this episode. This episode takes place off the Kill Oscar episode, where Jamie was thrown out of her apartment by Fembots. And there's an old Fembot of Callahan lying around. And she basically, Oscar said, oh, we have to have it for government stuff here and there. And Dr. Franklin's son has hacked into the robot, and he says, get the faceplate on, which she does, and they escape out there, and the whole Fembot thing is happening again. There's this guy that lives in a bubble type thing. It's like a room, but it's kind of like the Bubble Boy type thing. And he can't leave the room because he's got some kind of disease, and if he's exposed to people, he could die. And his his girlfriend comes to visit him, and it's not his girlfriend, it's a fembot. And Jamie chases this fembot, and she gets ran over by a car, all these sparks and everything cool just flying. And Jamie picks up the mask, and she says, Dr. Franklin's son had to have kidnapped your girlfriend to make a mask this good. And at the end, basically, he's contaminated, so he goes out with Jamie, and they fight off a bunch of fembots to get to that helicopter. And Jamie's, in Las Vegas, and she figures out that where Dr. Franklin's son is hiding out at. Well, Dr. Franklin's son is talking about how great fembots are, and Jamie's like, no. And Oscar's even explaining, he's like, hey, a robot can be good for certain things, but you need that human factor for this. And he tells Jamie, women like you have not changed since Helen and Troy, and she just laughs. And all of a sudden, the guy pulls off his face, and he's a robot. I mean, how awesome is this? Basically, Jamie and him have a fight. She gets everybody out, all the prisoners, and she defeats him, and there's this big explosion coming. Oscar's like, is Jamie coming? Is Jamie coming? And she just runs out. Well, basically the episode ends, and they say, well, there's no more robots, and it's basically the rest of this will be space junk. There's no harm to anybody. And it ends, and they, of course, smile and have a laugh. And, of course, I think you know why I picked this. It's got robots in it. That's why I love this episode. This is why it makes the #1 spot. So, yeah. I appreciate you seeing my favorite Bionic Woman episodes. And I will be back with the Classic TV Reviewer up next week. So I'll see you then. Bye.